Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my guide for the encounter with Good King Moggle Mog XII. This encounter is unlocked after progressing through the new main scenario quests, which can be unlocked in the Waking Sands in patch 2.1. You will have to do several missions before reaching this one, but once it's unlocked, this fight is designed to be completed with 8 players, each with an average item level of at least 54. At the end of the video, I shall include a walkthrough of me doing the fight with a full Duty Finder group, with commentary over it, just to give you guys a better idea of how we dealt with all the mechanics of the fight. Ahead of time, I'd like to apologize for any frame skips I may have encountered during this recording. I had just tested a King Behemoth recording before with my new settings and had no frame loss during Ecliptic Meteor, so I figured I was all set for recording this as well. It usually happens during big attacks like Palm Flare, Palm Holy, Spinning Mog Shield, and Memento Moogle. I guess these Moogles are just too strong for my recording settings. This fight will see you and 7 others facing off against 8 Moogles, one of which is the great and benevolent Good King Moggle Mog XII. Before we talk about the Good King himself, let's first discuss each of his subjects, who are the majority of the encounter themselves. With a total of 7 subjects, a lot is going on at the same time in this fight, and it can easily become a cluster of issues really quickly. Just keep a cool head and stay on top of your duties and all should go well. So let's go through each of his subjects first before we discuss the strategy of the encounter. The battle will start against Whiskerwall Coop, who is a gladiator. Whiskerwall has 2 moves. One is Spinning Mog Shield, which is an AoE he will do often that does light damage, but it also stuns anyone who is hit by it. So whenever you see him do it, just walk out of it. The other move he does, which I never saw him do in Phase 1, but I'll discuss it now so we're ready for it in Phase 2, is Thrown for a Loop, which will place a chain around 3 different targets before shortly taunting the 3 targets to him. This effect can and should be dispelled immediately. The effect is called Thrown for a Loop. This effect seems to target the 3 closest people, which will likely be the tank and 2 others. For this reason, ensure your healers and the other tank are not close to Whiskerwall. As soon as the effect immediately on the tank first, followed by the other 2 targets. Next to join the encounter are Pukla Pookie and Woolywort. From now on, I'm just calling them from the first parts of their names. There's no way we can say all those names for this entire guide. Pukla Pookie is a black mage and Woolywort is an archer. Pukla Pookie does not attack anyone, and so he does not need to be tanked. He does, however, need to be killed. After hovering around the arena, he will eventually stop and cast Palm Flare, which will hit 3/4 of the room for devastating damage if it casts. This effect can be stunned and silenced, so DPS should be saving these skills for Palm Flare to prevent it from going off. Woolywort will stand still and mark targets to shoot out as well. He has 2 kinds of marks. One signifies Mog, Rain of Death, which will do moderate damage to the 3 marked targets. Based on Rain of Death's nature and some of the recording footage in this video, just be safe and don't stand on top of each other when you're marked with this. It will hit targets that are under you as well, or under the mark, I should say, as well, other than yourself. Also, he has another one for Moogle Eye Shot, which will cause Woolywort to shoot his target 2 to 5 times for several hundred damage a shot. Nothing game-changing, and he is relatively low priority in terms of the target, since he doesn't even auto-attack a tank. The next 3 Moogles to join the fight are Puknapako, Ruffletuft, and Furryfoot. Puknapako is one of the least troublesome Moogles as well, as he is a thief. He just attacks a different person occasionally. That's all he does. He goes from one person to another, landing just 1 strike at a time, and he has about 5 to 6 seconds between these attacks. They hit for a few hundred damage, but it's nothing that game-breaking. Again, another Moogle which does not actually need to be tanked. In the second phase, he will also drop poison puddles, but just don't stand in these. They usually don't get positioned too poorly, but they're very easy to just move out of when they spawn. Ruffletuft is a Marauder with 2 attacks. The first one is 100-ton swing, which is like a giant overpower. It'll do damage in a massive cone in front of him. Don't let him face the inside of the arena ever. Ensure he is always facing the outside to prevent 100-ton swing from wrecking the party. And finally is Furryfoot, who is the white mage. He is another high priority target since he will go around curing the injured Moogles if left alive. Additionally, he can cast Palm Holy, which does moderate damage to the entire raid. I believe this can be stunned, though when I tried to silence it, it still went off, so apparently I couldn't silence it. So just try to stun or silence, but be prepared for it if it goes off. One more thing about Ruffletuft, he won't do it in this first phase, but he has another attack called Moogle Go Round, which is a lot like Palm Flare. It'll hit most of the room for a big AoE. Pretty sure you can just stun it, but just be prepared to move out of it if you're ranged. I really don't see any way for melee to possibly outrange its attack before it goes off. So definitely give it a, save stuns for the Marauder as well. I don't believe he does it in the first phase. I think he only does it in the second phase. But he didn't even do it in this fight at all, I don't think. So just be ready for it. It'll look like a dark circle under the ground. The final Moogle to join the fight is Puxi Pico, a bard. I don't know how I can even say these names. I can't even say regular English well, and somehow I'm getting these right. This bard has one primary job: to buff all the Moogles around him. Incoming bard jokes. Anyway, he will sing a song, March of the Moogles, which gives all the Moogles around him a strong determination buff, greatly increasing their damage. This buff is very significant, and again, if he can be stunned, do it. I know my silence didn't stop it, so really just give it a try, try and stun it, just for science, If not, just be prepared for some additional damage to come in. Now keep in mind that dragging a Moogle away from the song's AoE will cause the Moogles to lose the effect. It is a moderately sized AoE, so if he flies over to buff your Moogles, kite them away from him since he won't follow otherwise. So one last reminder about these 7 Moogles is that only the Marauder and the Gladiator can actually be tanked. So tanks, don't focus your efforts onto targets such as the Archer, the Bard, the White Mage, or the Black Mage. Just focus on controlling the Gladiator and the Marauder. The Archer will just shoot random targets, the Thief will occasionally attack a random person, the Bard just flies around singing, the White Mage flies towards people to cure them, and the Black Mage hovers around until he casts Palm Flare. Therefore, in Phase 2, just worry about positioning these 2 Moogles as well as the Good King himself over everything else. Those 7 Moogles will challenge you for the first half of the encounter, coming out in the groups that I listed them in above periodically. Your goal is to kill as many of them as possible within the time limit of Phase 1, which is approximately 160 seconds. In this first phase, there's not really a strict kill order, so kill them in whichever order works best for your group. Be sure to mark them in this phase, however, since the marks will carry over to the second phase and make things much easier for people to target. After 160 seconds are up, all 7 Moogles will revive and gather in the center of the arena. After performing a little summoning jig, Good King Moggle Mog XII will spawn in the center and cast Memento Moogle. In the time it takes for him to do this summon, your party should group up and rebuff. Stone Skins, Sacred Soil, Suckers, all this will really help when it comes to mitigating Memento Moogle's damage. Memento Moogle does damage based on how many Moogles were still alive at the end of Phase 1. The optimal goal is to only have 1 or 2 alive, since any more than that will cause Memento Moogle to do upwards of 2,500 damage. The more alive, the more it does, so not killing enough will result in an instant wipe. Not killing any will definitely do about probably 10,000 damage to the entire raid. The number that will likely cause a wipe on average, though, with you trying to kill them is 4, which will most likely kill anyone but the tanks or maybe an extremely geared DPS, but you don't even want to have to ever worry about doing a 4-stacked Memento Moogle. Now, before really discussing Phase 2, let's discuss what the Good King does now that he's part of the fight. The most important aspect about him is that whenever you kill one of his subjects, he will absorb their abilities. This means that once you kill the Black Mage, the King can cast Palm Flare. Once you kill the Gladiator, he can cast Thrown for a Loop, etc. This means that you shouldn't expect all the mechanics to disappear entirely, but you won't be dealing with as many mobs at a time, so the damage going around should decrease as you kill the Moogles. His versions of some of the attacks are slightly different as well, but they're fundamentally the same. We'll discuss any changes to them during our discussion about the kill order of the individual Moogles. Additionally, he can summon Moogles to attack his target at any given point, and this usually causes him to cast a line AoE called Mod Creation, which the tank should sidestep. He can also call the White Mage Moogle over for a cure as well, so if you try to DPS him first, the White Mage will just run over and heal him. But then again, any of the Moogles can really call for a heal from the White Mage, so just be prepared. After Memento Moogle, the extremely hectic Phase 2 will begin, with the King and all 7 of his subjects alive at once. Despite the chaos, don't let yourself get too distracted. A lot of the times people tell me they wiped because they were dying of laughter, and unfortunately, that will get you killed here. So, there are several different kill orders that can work for this phase. However, my preferred order is Black Mage, then White Mage, then Bard, Marauder, Archer, Thief, King, Gladiator. My reason is that both Palm Flare and Palm Holy are extremely annoying and powerful moves that you want to remove from the fight as soon as possible. Yes, the Good King will use them himself, but his version of them and the Moogle's version of them are entirely different in terms of how much damage they output and what kind of area that they cover. On top of that, Palm Cure just prolongs the kill speed of each Moogle, which is never good. The Bard and the Marauder both have extremely annoying mechanics as well. The Bard will occasionally hover over to the King or the Marauder and the Gladiator and sing March of the Moogles. To counter this, the tank holding the Good King or the Ad should kite them away from the Bard whenever he comes in to sing a song, so that they are not within range of the Determination buff. Killing him will prevent this mechanic, but the King will instead begin to sing the song himself. So have those heals ready and ensure that the Gladiator and the Marauder are both away from the King for the remainder of the fight. The Marauder will cast 100-ton swing, which we've already discussed can devastate people if it faces the room. More importantly is definitely Moogle Go Round, which as we mentioned before, has an AoE range similar to Palm Flare and will do massive damage to anyone in range of it. Stun this move if he uses it, since it can easily mean the death of the group. Once you kill the Marauder, the Good King may occasionally use it as well, so avoid having anyone but the main tank stand near the Good King until you are prepared to take him on. The final 4 mobs on the battlefield you can kill in whichever order is best for you. The Archer and the Thief are nuisances at best, but they will rarely make or break the fight. The Gladiator I prefer to kill after Good King Moggle Mog, just so the Good King doesn't use that charm move, which can be really annoying on the main tank. However, at this point, once it's down to the Good King and the Gladiator, just those two, odds are the fight is far more controlled now and the charm will hardly be an issue, so if it feels better to kill the Good King last, do it. About 4.5 minutes after he is summoned, the Good King started doing Memento Moogle again. Its strength depending on the remaining Moogles alive as it appeared. I wasn't 100% sure if this was based on time or if this was simply just happening because we were almost done with the encounter. But since its damage is based on the Moogles that are currently alive, I'm going to assume it's a timed sort of soft enrage. He does begin doing it increasingly often after he does it this first time, so just do your best to get through the Moogles fast. You may actually find it more beneficial to use the limit break on the subjects as opposed to using it on the King himself, just to ensure that they die fast. The general moral is to kill the targets that cause the most movement around the battlefield first, which will vary from group to group. Don't take my kill order as the absolute way to win. It's just a method that has had a high success rate for me. So, again, you kill the Black Mage while stunning and silencing Palm Flare. You kill the White Mage while stunning Palm Holy. Kill the Bard while moving the other Moogles away from him when he casts March of the Moogle. Kill the Marauder while stunning Moogle Go Round. Kill the Archer and Thief because they do damage and it's annoying. And then kill the King and the Gladiator in whichever order works best. And you should be okay. Do all of this and you should have a win on your hands. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy XIV videos and information. Of course, feel free to follow me on Facebook and Twitter as well, where you can ask me questions, especially about this fight, which is quite chaotic. Or you can just you can catch my updates about when I'm releasing new videos and things like that. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitch, where I do stream Final Fantasy XIV, Final Fantasy classic games like 7, 8, 6, 5. I've streamed them all before. And going to be streaming some new games in the year of 2014. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go shoot over to the walkthrough. I'm going to walk you guys through what my pug group did. Again, I apologize for the frame drops that you were about to have, but unfortunately, there was only so much I could do after doing this fight so many times. I was just happy to have a Duty Finder group that did it perfectly. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and let's go over to the walkthrough right now. Alright, so as you can see here, we have our first tank go in. Now, this tank knew the fight pretty well, and his gear was pretty good, but I think only a couple of people in the group are really, I'd say, over-geared for this. Like, I mean, obviously anyone above 54 is over-geared for it. I'm level 54, but I noticed that I'm definitely... Actually, we have quite a few over-geared DPS. Me and the other Bard are quite moderately geared. The tank who pulled is also moderately geared. The Black Mage is moderately geared, but everybody else seems to be about at the average rating that you'd expect to get this from the Duty Finder, and we did pretty well. I mean, we just discussed the strategy. We one-shot it. I told everyone the kill order. We stuck to it for the most part, and it worked out really, really well for us. So I was definitely sure, after having some good success with this strategy, that I could make a video with this footage. Again, I hate the frame drops, but luckily it only happens a lot in the second phase. It happened once already with spinning Mog Shield, but I'm sorry. So we killed the Gladiator as soon as possible, and then the next two came out. We quickly switched to the Black Mage. You saw I silenced Palm Flare. I didn't see any other stuns going off at the same time, so I'm assuming it was my silence that stopped Palm Flare. This is the White Mage right here that we're fighting now. Now, most importantly about this first phase, we are marking everything. And it was very clear before we started the encounter who we were killing in what order and what each mark meant. Now, obviously, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 were the initial kill orders that we decided to go with. And because the archer and the thief were so uninfluential, we really just left them for the end. As you can see, the thief has a don't attack mark on him, which means like he's negligible at best. But we did discuss that the order we have them in right now is not necessarily the order we'll kill them in the end. As you can see, we have the archer is actually marked 4 here when we originally agreed to do the Marauder. But for the most part, in this phase, it's not as important in this phase, but you definitely at least want to get an understanding. You want to get the marks down, and you want to make sure that your entire party is aware what each mark means, because it makes going into the second phase a lot smoother. All of these marks will stay on them. Even after they die and come back up, these marks will stay on the targets. So you don't have to, it just makes it so you don't have to remark them or mark them when you get to phase 2. It saves you a lot of time because the fight becomes so hectic, you don't want to have to be marking these targets when the second phase starts. So just mark them now. But anyway, so we're just going through the Moogles. We're just trying to kill as many as we can before Momentum Moogle, which is going to be pretty soon. It's been almost 160 seconds already. I usually recognize it by the 100-ton swing when we only have like 2 Moogles left. That's about the DPS I've seen. I actually typed incoming phase right about 3 seconds before that. So it doesn't look like a lot's going on, and that first phase really doesn't teach you how hard the fight is about to be. Granted, if you're calm and collected, this phase is not that bad. We're going to have another frame skip right here, and we're going to have quite a few doing to spinning Mog Shield and Palm Flare and stuff. We buffed up. We have Stone Skins going out. Sucker. I have my effects turned. Oh, yeah, we are in a Sacred Soil. I was going to say I have my effects turned off so I can't see Sacred Soil. I should have probably turned off the Good King's effects as well. So we cast Momentum Moogle, and then it all starts. As you can see, all the marks just came back immediately. So we immediately popped cooldowns, went on to the Black Mage, while one tank pulled the King, and the other tank got the Marauder and the Paladin and pulled them separate ways. As you can see, all the rest of the Moogles just chilling in the center of the room, not really doing anything. That's the Thief going over and landing a really weak attack on the off tank, but nothing that big, like overall, just not that big. Now, again, that's the laser move that, you know, just lagged on right there. That was Mog creation. It's like a blue laser on the ground, so it's pretty easy to see. We're still killing Pukla the Palm Burner. It may seem like we're killing him kind of slow. I don't know what kind of DPS we have. All the DPS are definitely on him. It definitely seems like nobody wants to apply dots to a target that's almost dead, though. Myself was guilty right until the end. So Black Mage is dead. Now the King has access to Palm Flare as well. As you can see, we silenced that. Now, I'm going to try and silence Palm Cure right here, and it doesn't work. So I'm assuming you have to stun or... You have to stun Palm Holy and Palm Cure. I didn't have silence available to try and silence Palm Holy, but that's the best I can assume. So all this going on, Thief comes over and hits me. The White Mage is almost dead. As you can see, we had some frame loss there with the Holy. Again, I just can't. It's the only fight I have trouble with frame loss. I don't know what it is. These Moogles are just they're just too strong for me. So we killed the White Mage, and now this. I'm so sorry about this. This is what that is what the Good King's Palm Flare looks like. He puts 2 sets of 2 puddles on the ground. Oh my goodness, so bad. Okay, we're back. He put 2 sets of 2 Palm Flares on the ground. The first 2 land, and then the second 2 land a second later. So instead of it covering 3/4 of the arena, it basically places them on top of 4 random players, and you just have to move out of the Palm Flares. You can group up and just move to the side for them, but they aren't terribly big, so as long as you're not too awkwardly positioned, you should be okay. There's another spinning Mog Shield to lag me out. Great, and we're back. I can't believe... you'd think after testing it on Ecliptic Meteor in Crystal Tower and getting no frame loss that I wouldn't have a problem with this fight, but I did. Oh, man, I was so disappointed when I watched this and saw I had frame loss. But anyway, there's not really much to talk about once the Bard goes down. As you can see, in this video, we didn't kill the Marauder 4th. We didn't do it. We killed the Archer 4th. I told everyone to kill the Marauder 4th, but we just decided we weren't having trouble with the Marauder. You know, he wasn't doing Moogle Go Round at all, so he didn't become an issue. That's complete RNG, by the way, that he didn't do Moogle Go Round. That completely lucky on our part, because I've had groups where he does it 3-4 times, and the fact that we didn't get it at all is nuts. So now we're killing the Marauder, which is number 5 right here on ours. And once you've gotten past the first 2 or 3 Moogles, the fight calms down a lot, and it becomes a lot easier to handle the ridiculous amount of mechanics that are coming your way, because that is really where the big difficulty lies in this fight, is how many mechanics you have to deal with simultaneously. There's also a lot of confusion about the tank's priorities. A lot of people are unaware that you can only tank the Marauder and the Gladiator, and the King himself, of course. So a lot of tanks try to gather up all of the Moogles, and it doesn't work. I mean, you lose a lot of time when you do that, and usually that usually ends up resulting in the Marauder and the Gladiator actually going out and attacking people. So that was thrown for a loop right there. So this is thrown for a loop. The only reason I say I think it's the closest people, in the exact moment he cast it, we were the closest people. And it seemed to be that way yesterday, too, when I got charmed as a healer. I was standing very close to him, and it just happened. That's Mog Rain of Death, so as you can see, that hurts. You definitely don't want that to hit more than the 3 people that it's already targeting. But at this point, it's just, let the thief do whatever he wants. We actually killed the Gladiator. See, I set the order and we didn't follow it at all, and that just goes to show you how little the order matters once a few targets are dead. Once you don't have to deal with Palm Flare from the Black Mage anymore, once you don't have to deal with Palm Holy and Palm Cure that often anymore, once you don't have to deal with Moogle Go Round or the Determination buff constantly forcing you to shift positions, the fight just calms down a lot. And you see that in reality, while it looked like a lot was going on, a lot of the Moogles don't do anything for prolonged periods of time. You have the Thief who only attacks once every 5 to 6 seconds. You have the Archer who just picks a few targets now and again. You have the Bard who does nothing but go around and attempt to sing songs, which if you kite the Moogles out of the songs, it's like he's doing nothing at all. The Marauder and the Gladiator and the King are obviously auto-attacking and using their Cone and AoE abilities, and that's really where the biggest amount happens after Palm Flare and things like that. So we actually save our level 3 limit break for this right here. Unnecessary. We could have used it on one of the smaller Moogles to speed up the killing process to ensure Momentum Moogle did less damage, but we performed, this Duty Finder group performed really well. Definitely be patient with your Duty Finder groups for the Good King, because it's not an easy fight, and people are going to have to probably see it at least once before they fully comprehend what's going on in the fight. One last bit of frame loss right there, and that's it for the video, guys. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this video helps you get the Good King down, whether you're using Duty Finder, Party Finder, or a free company. Hopefully you guys can get it down soon enough. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.